Hello everybody and welcome to a new tutorial from Organian's Puzzlebox. Recently, I've been doing a lot of work on my Surface Forge project update. 1.0 is just around the corner, and with this I was looking for various different techniques that I could apply to it, lighting techniques and all sorts of things. And I came across this Instagram post from a user, and I will link his post in the description below, where he goes through explaining how to create a post-process material to add warmth shadows into a scene. And I found this to be very interesting, very cool, and also very performant. It's a very neat idea, and I thought I would just put it into a video format for a tutorial on YouTube, because I think a lot of people were kind of struggling to get it working. So I've put it all together. The code is on my Patreon to download for free. You don't need to do anything, just go in there and copy the code. So yeah, if you want to watch the original Instagram post, as I said, feel free to watch it and give a like to the guy who made it. It's actually quite ingenious to say the least. Anyway, I tried to kind of explain what's going on, but I'm trying to move quite quickly through it. It works just fine, and you can tweak it to your heart's content. Now, if you are interested in visiting the Patreon and have a look at all my projects, feel free. For the price of a coffee, you can get access to over 50 projects, including the Surface Forge that I'm working on right now. Version 0.7 is out, and update 1.0 is just around the corner, and it will be available on Patreon for all my subscribers. So with that said, let's begin the tutorial. Okay, and here we are in the Surface Forge update, and I have already a shadow in here, which is quite soft. I'm using a directional light which has a source angle of around 2, I believe. Yeah, there we go. Now by default, this is set to 0.53, and this is giving you quite a sharp edge. But for this effect to run, you do need to have a bit of a smoother shadow than this. So we're going to go with a shadow angle of 2, and you can see it's kind of created this little bit of a shadowy point of moving from the shadow to the light option. Okay, now I'm just going to kind of go somewhere in the scene where we can see shadows a little bit better. Maybe somewhere up here, right? So we can have a look at this shadow as it sort of like moves around the surface. And we want to go in here and create a new material. So just M, and we can call this shadow warmth or something like that, just whatever you'd like. Double click it, and this will allow us to open the material. Now, the first thing we want to do in here is we want to make sure that the material domain is switched from surface to a post process, and this allows us to just edit the emissive color like that. Now we're going to bring in a scene texture, and generally this is used with post process materials, and we want to have 2 of these. The first one, we want to change that to a post processing input 0, and the second one to a base color. And what we're going to do is we're going to use a power node between these two. So we're going to take the post-process input 0 and the base color for lighting. And if we preview this, this will allow us now to, well, sorry, let me just start preview. This will allow us to kind of, select the shadows from within the scene. And with this done, with this power node, we can go and desaturate it. So that we're actually, we're going to preview again in here, and we're just getting rid of any sort of like color data. So we're just desaturating that, and then we're going to put in another power node. This power node, we are going to want to control it. We're going to add a scalar and call this end_power. We're going to leave it at the default value of 0 for now, and put this over into the power node. And then from here, we want to add in a multiply node, and there we go, just like that. And we want to take this power information from here and put into a 1-, and this will go into another power node, okay? And this one is going to have an X power like that, and going to put that into the power node over here. This power node will connect to the multiply, like so. So what we're doing with the 1- here in this power node, we're trying to isolate so we get like a shadow edge, like a crisp shadow edge, because we don't want the effect to be overblown inside the shadow part of the scene anyway. So this is still going to bleed a little bit, but it's going to be quite controlled. And after we have this multiply, I'm going to bring in another multiply in here. And this one, we're going to have a parameter called contrast. This is going to help us to control the contrast of the effect. And then over in here, we're going to add another power node. And in this power node, we're going to have a balance. So just going to add in a balance between the effect that we're going to see. And then I'm going to add another, well, I'm going to add another saturate in here because I want to saturate the values from 0 to 1, and then add in a multiply node. And this multiply node, we will use a final scalar parameter, which we're going to call intensity. Okay, and that's going to connect into that multiply. All of this is going to go in a linear, let me just type in interpolate like this. So we use this multiply as the alpha. And now in the A value of the lerp node, we're going to use the original color of our post-processing input 0, like that. And then in the B value, this is where we want to add in a blend overlay, so we can actually create the, let me just type in this, so we can create a color that's going to be blended into the shadow. And this result here, oh, sorry, not the result. Let me just first grab in the color from here. Put it into a component mask, because if you don't, I'll show you what happens. If you put it straight into the base over here, you can see this is a v3 that it requires. And if we plug that like so, and let's just say like into the emissive color, you can see in here that we're going to have a problem. First of all, because we're also missing this blend function, but we can fix that. We can add a color over here, and I'm going to make it a strong orange. So for this, I'm going to use a value of 1 here in the reds, and a value of 0.208 in the green. And then I'm going to plug that over there in the blend v3. And you can see it here, it says arithmetic between float 4 and float 3 are undefined. So there's a couple of things here that we need to fix. So first of all, we want to bring in this component mask, RGB, put that into the base like that, okay? And then the next problem is over here, we want to add in an append node. So an append vector node, because what's happening is we're bringing in this is expecting in here, basically, this arithmetic is expecting 2 floats 4. So what we're doing is we're appending a value of 0 to this result, and we're putting that into the B value over there. And that should be it overall. We're going to press apply. And with that done, now I can go back into my scene, Control space, right click, and create a material instance. Now this shadow warmth instance, we want to go into our post-process volume. Scroll down, so you need to add a post-process volume. Make sure that it's actually using infinite extent. Where is it? There we go. So if you want the post-process to expand throughout the whole scene that you're doing, just make sure you got infinite extent. But if you don't, and you want your post-process to be localized, then just scale it up as needed. Once you have that, you can go over here under the rendering features, and you'll have a post-process material, and you can add a new array. Make sure it's an asset reference. And in that asset reference, we can add in our material instance. Okay, so now that's done, but nothing has changed. And that's because we need to double click the material instance, and we need to start playing with some of these settings in here, okay? So we've got everything set to 0 right now, which is not really helping us because we need different values. So let's get all of our settings in here enabled, and then we've got balance to work with. So we're gonna put that to about 0.007. I think using the sort of settings that I'm using is going to give you the best results, but you are obviously free to experiment with your own numbers. Now for contrast, we're going to use 12.583. This is what I found to work quite nice. Then ext power, we're going to use that 4.264. Int power, we're going to put that to 20.45, sorry, 455. So 20.455. And then for intensity, is going to be 0.288. Okay, now you can see that we have added a little bit of warmth to the entire scene. But if we go over here into the array and we put this over to 0, that's how it looks like. And this is how it looks like with this warmth feature. Now, where does this actually shine? Well, look at the edges here of this shadow, like that. And then look at the edges of these shadows here. So without the effect, with the effect. Now again, we are adding a bit of warmth to the entire scene, so that is something to be aware of. When you look at over here onto the things like the contrast, you can kind of play with that. You can play around with the balance in order to push this number more or less, but you can always like push the intensity just so you're kind of seeing how the effect kind of lies. This is going to be a balancing act ultimately, but as I said, you see how I'm kind of like separating that in towards the edge there. This is what I'm saying, that you're going to have to balance this out until you get the proper result. So maybe something like that. And again, you will need to play with these settings until you get the result that you want. It's a very interesting way of doing this, I must say. I'm very surprised that it works this well. But it's actually quite good. I mean, it's definitely selling that point of a warmth shadow for sure. Now, one final tweak that we can do here, we can go over back into our material, and obviously we can right click the color, convert that to a parameter, call it color or something like that, apply. And then when you go back in here, you can obviously change the color to whatever you'd like. So maybe you want to make it into a blue or a magenta or a green or whatever you'd like. Obviously, just bear in mind that this is also adding a sort of a bit of a that color around the environment. And this is where, like using something like green can be a lot more visible. And that's when you start tweaking around with these values, because you want to make sure that they are separated properly. And again, this is going to be you doing a lot of experimentation if you really like to play around with this effect more. But I found those settings that I gave you earlier, like 18 for the balance and 20.455 for the int power, and then this one is 0.288. I found that to be quite nice, but it works a lot better with like an orangey color rather than anything else, because I think the orange color just kind of makes sense, and in nature as well. It is a color that sort of makes sense for this effect. But yeah, that's how it is, and that's how it looks like in the Surface Forge, obviously the project that I'm working on now. And one final peculiarity, if I can say that, is how it sort of like reacts when you play with the source angle. So this is at a source angle of 0. There's no source angle available. But then as you gradually increase this, you'll notice how it sort of like fades into that redness onto the edges, which is really, really nice. Like obviously you can go for it like 25 or something like that if you want, but it's going to be far less visible when you do that. Maybe even for a 5, that can also be quite interesting. But you can see in there the warmth edge that these shadows have. And then obviously if I click on the post process and go in here and just turn that off, it's sort of like that edge kind of disappears. But again, I'm using quite a soft shadow here, so it may not be as visible. But it definitely adds a lot of, I would say, a lot of personality to the scene. Well, thank you guys for watching. Hope you enjoyed that. I know it was quite a quick one. So yeah, I'll dig up some more content for you to post in the coming weeks. But again, thank you for watching and supporting the channel, and I'll see you in the next one.